So I've just gone out to the cinema and just seen the brand new installment into the DC franchise, The Suicide Squad, which is directed by James Gunn, but also has a production credit of Zack Snyder. So what are my thoughts on this latest installment into the DC franchise, and is it better than the previous Suicide Squad movie? Let's find out together. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Mike, and if you're brand new here, please feel free to hit that red subscribe button so I can see you again next time, because I would love to have you along for the ride, and also to check out future reviews, because I've certainly got plenty of them coming your way. So the brand new The Suicide Squad is directed by James Gunn. Now, the previous one was directed by David Ayer. I'm not going to touch on that one too much, because I want to focus on this brand new installment and what you can kind of come to expect. Of course, it stars Margot Robbie once again as Harley Quinn. We've got Idris Elba, John Cena. We've got so many cast and characters in this movie. It's just too much to kind of just see it in one go. So essentially it's around the bunch of villains known as the Suicide Squad, essentially sent on a mission to a place called Corto Maltese to stop this infiltration of Joheim and stop the world from kind of going into this underground madness descent. So firstly, wow, where was this installment of the Suicide Squad 5 or 6 years ago when the original one came out? Where's this been? Truly, I really felt throughout this entire movie that James Gunn was really given creative directing freedom, and he really utilised that, and he went all out, because this film, guys, is gory as shit. You are really going to expect to see a gory, balls to the wall, all out, action-packed superhero movie. And wow, what a phenomenal film. So let's get straight into my positives for the Suicide Squad. Firstly, the casting in this, phenomenal. I don't think they could have actually chose better options, and I'm really glad that a couple of the original people in the Suicide Squad in the 2016 movie came back and made an appearance in this, because honestly, there's so many kind of villains in this. This movie is completely unexpected from what you're going to previously see, or even expectations, because when I saw the trailers of this, going to be honest with you, I wasn't the biggest fan, just simply because of maybe the previous reputational of the one that they recently did, but also I felt like this was going to go all out on the comedy, and personally for DC movies, I love that darker, grittier tone. What I will say this straight away is this film is way gorier than I even expected, and somehow it got a 15 age rating. And I thought here, at least in the UK, it was going to get an 18 rating, because this shit is gorier and bloodier than a lot of horror films. And I was like, wow, James Gunn truly went all out, and you can probably tell in the excitement in my voice, honestly. And the plot itself, I actually really dug, because it actually gave us time to really engross in these characters, and it really made us care about them, because we've never had kind of incarnations of, say, for example, like the Polka Dot Man in live action, as far as I'm aware. I never actually read a comic book, so I didn't really know a backstory on these supervillains at all, or heroes, or anti-heroes. I didn't really know a backstory on them at all. So this film kind of gave us that, but also made us really care about. It definitely had vibes of Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, 100%. What I will also say though is the soundtrack in this, for the most part, is pretty good. It really kind of took that darker, edgier side of what James Gunn probably could have done with Guardians of the Galaxy, but really given it into the DC EU franchise. And I am pumped to see what they are going to do next in this creative direction. And please bring back James Gunn, because he was truly phenomenal. What I will also say as well, there's the standout character in this movie for me, which I think is going to be a standout character for a lot of people, or two. One of them was King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone, and what an awesome voice casting choice. Definitely fits Stallone's character to a T, in the sense of what voice direction Stallone could have done, and he executes it brilliantly. But also my other favourite character in this movie was the Polka Dot Man, who I really did not expect, because he was just such kind of like a grounded character that honestly you could kind of relate in a sense to what he's kind of feeling throughout the movie. So what I also want to say in terms of a positive is just the cinematography and the editing style in this is truly something else. It's sublime. So for example, when you see a movie, you might say like 8 minutes later or something like that. But James Gunn really has a directive approach in terms of how he utilizes just simple text, and that kind of just screams off the screen. Honestly, so cool. In terms of my negatives, I guess if I've got to pick anything, I've got maybe two minor negatives. The first one being that some of the CG effects you can tell isn't as crisp as others. Now, this could obviously come down to the situation that happens on screen and how they kind of present that CG style, which is certainly different ways that they could have gone about it. But I just feel like maybe those kind of little scenes could have done with a little gloss over just to match with the rest of the style of the CG. And this could have turned out to be no gripes at all in terms of the CG department. And the only other kind of negative that I've got is that little odd times this movie feels a little bit tad long. Not in a way of a bad sense, but I guess sometimes it's just like the little bit of the pacing, or there might be one or two little scenes that maybe doesn't really need to make the final cut. What I'm going to say about the Suicide Squad is go out to the cinema, go support this movie. Wear a face mask, whatever you need to do, go out and support the Suicide Squad, because I truly want to see James Gunn back in the DC EU franchise. And with that in mind, my score for the Suicide Squad is... So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this review. I'm glad I'm parked somewhere completely away from the cinema, because I am kind of just hyped about this movie, and you guys are getting to see this in the first initial reaction as I just got out of the cinema. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And if you've seen the Suicide Squad, what are your thoughts on it? Or if you're going to go see the Suicide Squad, please let me know after you've seen that movie as well what your thoughts were of this movie. And until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.